Welcome to the module Closing Tabs and Saving a Friend. My name is Thomas Claudius Huber, and in this module we will extend the friend storage application so that the user can close tabs and that he can save the friends that he has modified. Let's take a quick look at the module outline. We start this module by testing and implementing the logic to close a tab in the friend storage application. Then we will enable the Save button if the user has made changes to the current friend. We will also implement the actual save logic so that when the user clicks the button, the friend is saved by using the data provider. After a friend has been saved, we need to refresh the navigation. If the user has changed the friend's name, we also need to display the new name in the navigation after the friend has been saved. To refresh the navigation, we will use an event that we publish with the event aggregator. Then the navigation view model can subscribe to that event to update the saved friend's name. Okay, as we do all of this in a test-driven way, we have to write a lot of unit tests in this module. So we shouldn't lose more time on this module outline. Let's start with closing a tab in the friend storage application. Here I've started the friend storage application. When I click on a friend, that friend opens up in a tab. But the button to close a tab does not work yet. So let's implement this logic. Let's first go to the main window where the tab control is defined. Here you see the tab control, which is bound to the friend edit view models property of our main view model. On the tab control, we have set the item template property to define the header of a tab. As you can see, we have two text blocks here, bound to the first name and last name properties of a friend. Then we have here a button with the content X. That's the button that we want to use to close a tab. As you can see, the command property is bound with the relative source. We find the ancestor of type tab control. This means that this tab control is the data source in this binding. From the tab control, we grab the data context property, which will be the main view model. And on the main view model, we bind to the close friend tab command property. The next thing you see here is the command parameter property. This just contains a binding. As we haven't specified any source on this binding will use the data context of that data template, which is in this case a friend edit view model. Because for each friend edit view model in this friend edit view models property, a tab is created, and so we have an item template that defines the tab header. Alright, so let's go now to the main view model and let's look at this command property that I have already created. Here in the main view model, I have created this close friend tab command property of type iCommand. In the constructor, I initialize that property with a new delegate command and with the onClose friend tab execute method as a handler. As you can see, that method is not implemented yet. One thing I want to mention, the parameter that we have bound here to the friend edit view model is received in our handler method as a parameter here. So we can access the friend edit view model that we want to close. But before we start now implementing the logic, let's write a unit test. But actually, we don't have to write one because I have already prepared one in the main view model tests class. So when I scroll down here, you see a new test method should remove friend edit view model on close friend tab command. The first thing I do here, I publish an open friend edit view event with the random friend ID 7. When this event is published, a friend edit view model is created and selected. So I grab that selected friend edit view model and I store it in this variable. Then I execute the close friend tab command by calling the execute method on that command. And as a parameter, I pass in the friend edit view model. When the button is clicked on the screen, this parameter comes automatically in based on the command parameter binding that we have here. Okay, and now the last thing in my test, I assert that I don't have any friend edit view models in the friend edit view models property of my main view model. Alright, so let's run the tests. And for sure, that test is red. Now let's implement the logic in the main view model. So the first thing we do, we grab the friend edit view model that we receive here as a parameter. Okay. And now the next thing we need to do, we just need to remove that friend edit view model from our friend edit view models property. So let's do this. From that property, I want to remove this friend edit view model. So that's it. Let's run the tests and hopefully this test is green. Okay, cool. The test is green and now let's try it in the application. Let's open up a friend and let's click that button here and the tab closes. Let's open up multiple friends and let's just see if we can close here Julia. Okay, cool. It worked as expected. Now let's continue with the Save button. This demonstration is all about enabling and disabling the Save button in the friend storage application. Only if the user has changed a friend, I want to enable the Save button. Else, the Save button should be disabled. So to test and implement this logic, we will introduce a save command in the friend edit view model and we will track changes in a friend wrapper. You will also learn how to raise the save commands can execute changed event and how to test this. Okay, so let's start now with the introduction of the save command. In friend storage, the Save button is part of the friend edit view. So let's open up that view. And here you see the Save button. When I click on that button in the designer, Visual Studio jumps to that button in SAML. Here you can see that its command property is bound to the Save command property of the friend edit view model. In the friend edit view model, I have already prepared that property. So here you see I have created a Save command property of type iCommand. In the constructor, I initialized that property with a new delegate command and I have specified the two methods onSaveExecute and onSaveCanExecute. These two methods are at the bottom of the friend edit view model. And as you can see, I have not implemented them yet. But I was not completely lazy because I have already started with a unit test. So in the friend edit view model tests class, I have created a new test method that is called shouldDisableSave command when friend is loaded. On the friend edit view model, I call the load method with a friend ID. Then I assert that the canExecute method of the save command returns false. Because a new friend should not have changes, and so the Save button should be disabled. Now let's run the tests in the Test Explorer. Our new test is red, because we haven't implemented anything yet. So let's cheat a bit now, let's just go to the friend-edit-view-model, and in that onSafeCanExecute method, we just return false. Okay, let's run the tests again. And as you can see, our new test is also green. But for sure, now the command is always disabled because we just return false here. So let's add another unit test. I just copy this existing test method and I call the new test method should enable save command when friend is changed. And then after I have loaded the friend, I want to change that friend. So on the friend, I set the first name property to changed. Then I assert that the canExecute method of the save command returns true. Okay, now let's run the tests again. And we have another red test. Now we need to find out if the friend has changed or not to implement this. And to do this, we will introduce a friend wrapper.